Hey everyone, it's Jonathan here, founder of Driving Academy, and in today's video we're going to be giving you the ultimate steps on how to pass your first CDL road test in 2024. Now, we're going to give you the step-by-step guide on exactly how to get your CDL license as soon as possible in 2024 so you can miss all of those mistakes and as long as you listen, right? So that being said, let's talk about why is it important to actually get a CDL license. If you're watching this video, you probably want to get a CDL license already, but let's just make sure we ensure the fact that you know getting a CDL license is super important. Getting a CDL license gives you the ability to drive big tractor trailers and small buses as well. That being said, once you actually get your CDL license, you actually become part of a group of very powerful people who are very valuable in the marketplace because there's about an 80,000 driver shortage. So once you actually get your CDL license, you're able to make money, you're able to keep your job for a long time because it's very stable, and you're able to be very flexible and choose kind of how you want your future to go. So that being said, let's talk about what are the steps in order to actually get your CDL license. So you can break the steps into two ultimate big steps. You're going to have what's called your permit step, which means getting your CDL permit, followed by your road test step, which is passing your CDL road test itself. So let's talk about the permit portion first. In order to actually get your CDL license, you have to be qualified. In order to qualify for your CDL, you have to make sure that you're following these four guidelines. Guideline number one, you have to at least be 18 years of age or older. Guideline number two is you have to make sure you can pass what's called a DOT physical. DOT stands for Department of Transportation. We want to make sure that you're healthy enough to actually get your CDL license. Part number three is going to make sure that you have a valid driver's license, right? So it can be probationary, can be suspended. And part number four, you have to have the actual social security number or the ability to actually work in the United States. If you have all of those things, then you're able to move on to the next step. The next step is actually getting yourself a CDL permit. So in order to get a CDL permit, if you want to go for the CDL Class A, which means you're able to drive the big tractor trailers, any vehicle that weighs more than 26,000 pounds and has a trailer that weighs more than 10,000 pounds is what you require to have a Class A. With the Class A, you're able to drive most Class B vehicles as well, so it's kind of the best way to go. If you want to go for that license, you're going to have to pass 3 different written tests. It's going to be general knowledge, air brakes, and then combination vehicle. Now, all those tests are going to be computer tests that you're going to have to take at your local DMV. In most states, you're going to have to purchase the permit first and then schedule an appointment online to actually go and take the test at the DMV itself. Now, how do you study for this test? This test is going to be multiple choice, and you have to make sure that you get at least 80% or better on this test. If you get lower than 80% on this test, then you have to wait at least 1 week before you have to go back. Now, in many states, there's a big backlog of how long you have to wait to actually get your CDL license and get your permit. That being said, the less you study now, the longer it's actually going to take you. So this guide is to show you the quickest way on how to get your CDL license. So the easiest way to do this is actually going to your school and making sure that they show you the proper ways of doing it. So here at Driving Academy, we actually have an online training course for students who want to do it online, or they can come in our classroom and do it in person as well. And we guide you through every step of the way on all the information that you need in order to pass those 3 written tests: general knowledge, air brakes, and combination vehicle. The way we train you is we train you directly from the CDL manual, so there's no crazy things about it, and then we'll give you a bunch of practice tests at the end of the day. What a lot of people actually do wrong is all they do is they download this app and then they just do questions and answers all the time. And that is kind of cool, kind of like a cheat code for some people. But what a lot of people don't understand is those questions constantly get updated at the DMV all the time. And they usually change 1 or 2 words around in the question, and it's a completely different question. Which means if you're just studying questions and answers, if they give you a question on the test and it's not something that you actually memorize that's word for word, you won't know how to answer because you don't really have the knowledge to do so. So that's why here at Driving Academy, we actually make sure that our students have the knowledge to answer any question that pops out to them, and we actually get them ready for their full life career. We don't just get them ready to pass a road test or a written test itself, right? Once you actually have passed all those tests, now you qualify for having a permit. And the next step would be to complete all ELDT requirements. ELDT stands for Entry Level Driver Training. So there's going to be 3 main requirements for that. requirement number 1 is you're going to have to pass a theory course to make sure that you understand the theory side of it. They actually added that portion to it simply because a lot of people were just practicing questions and answers, and they weren't really understanding the whole theory behind driving safely. The second 2 parts are going to be making sure that you pass the minimum requirements when it comes to maneuvering the vehicle and inspecting the vehicle, as well as driving the vehicle on the road itself. So these are requirements that you're going to have to make sure that you pass according to your local state guidelines and federal guidelines as well. And your school, as long as they're a certified training provider on the state and the federal level, they're going to be able to certify you able to move forward. Here at Driving Academy, we are fully certified. We've been through all the audits from the state and the federal guidelines itself, and we passed every single time without any problems. That's why our students are able to pass the test very easily, and when they actually get their CDL license, they're able to succeed in the actual world of trucking simply because of the knowledge that we've given them, right? We give them all the tools that they need to actually become successful. So step 1, like we talked about, is all those written tests. Step 2 is ELDT, and we have all of that incorporated with our course. A lot of other schools don't have that built into their course, which means it's going to be extra fees on top of it when you're actually searching around. And then the last part is going to be passing the road test. Now, the road test did change last year, and it changed up a little bit. It's still 3 different portions of the test. So first portion is going to be the pre-trip inspection. Here you're going to have to know how to inspect both the inside and outside of the vehicle. Second part of the test is all about parking. Here you're going to have to do 4 different parking maneuvers. First one's going to be what's called a front bumper stop, which means you're going to have to pull up straight, make sure your front bumper stops within a 2 to 3 foot box. Second part of that maneuver is going to be a straight line backing. So you're going to have to show that you can actually back up the whole tractor trailer completely straight for at least 100 feet. The next maneuver is going to be called a forward offset, which means you're going to have to go around an obstacle without touching any of the cones and making sure your back tire is in the proper space that the examiner tells you to be in. And then the fourth and final maneuver is going to be almost like an alley dock / parallel park maneuver, where you're going to have to back in reverse offset and back that vehicle into a tight space and make sure everything is moving forward. Now, this is all for the Class A. If you're going to go for the Class B, maybe you want to go for the bus or maybe like a small box truck, it's the same exact thing. All you have to do that's different is you're going to have to pass general knowledge, air brakes, and then passenger endorsement if you want to go for the bus. For the permit test, everything else is exactly the same. The road test is the same, the written test is pretty much the same, the ELDT portion is all the same, and then that's pretty much how you go. So that's pretty much the structure of actually getting your CDL license in 2024. Once you pass that test, then you're able to go and pick up your actual CDL license at your local DMV. Now, the cool thing about becoming a student here is that we offer what we call third-party testing, which means our students have the ability to actually get tested by our own staff members because some of our locations are certified as third-party locations. That being said, what is the best way to make sure that you pass the very first time you do everything? So when it comes to those written tests, you want to make sure that you actually are doing the study guide that we give you. If you do what we ask you to do, there's a 95% success rate the very first time around. That being said, high chance that you're going to be passing everything without any delays. So we'll give you all the information that we talked about, and we'll give you a bunch of practice tests, and you have to get 90% or better on our practice tests in order for you to move forward and actually take the real test at the DMV itself. So how do you prepare yourself for the road test? Well, I actually forgot to talk about the last part of the test, and that's actually the easiest. So we talked about the inspection, we talked about the parking, and the third part of the test is actually the easiest part of the test. So that being said, out of those 3 portions of the test itself, most people wind up failing on the first portion, which is the pre-trip inspection. So if you're a student of ours, we have a very specific way on how we make sure that our students learn the inspection portion. The hardest part of the inspection is you have to pretty much memorize the script like you're an actor. So we've actually delved into how adults actually go to learn. We made sure that you're able to memorize all that you need to memorize in order to pass this test the first time, but you just got to put in the work. If you don't put in the work, it's very hard to pass this test. That being said, if you follow all of our guidelines, you will be able to move forward easily. So let's kind of give you some of those tips on how to pass your test the very first time. Step number 1, when it comes to the pre-trip inspection, you want to make sure when you're learning these things, you just take one section at a time. which means there's going to be about 50 different items on the vehicle that you're going to have to be able to inspect. You want to take 1 or 2 a day and master those. And then every day moving forward, you want to build off after that. So when you're talking about lug nuts on the tire, when you're talking about tread depth on a tire, when you're talking about power steering pumps and stuff like that, all those things are going to be added little by little as you go through the program with us here. When it comes to the parking maneuvers, the biggest step on how to pass your parking maneuvers the first time and how to learn it and master it is make sure you're getting out to look. Now, getting out to look sounds like a cheat code, but on the test itself, you're actually able to use your get out looks to make sure that you're able to successfully complete the maneuver. Now, you are going to have limited get out looks depending on the maneuver that you're in, but that being said, when you are practicing, remember, you're not testing yet. You want to make sure you're getting out as many times as possible during the practice days as well, so then you actually start to understand, okay, this is what my view looks like inside the vehicle. When I get out and look, this is actually what it looks like from the outside of the vehicle. And the more connections you make between inside view and outside view, the easier it's going to be to really understand cause and effect. Hey, if I turn my wheel this way and my trailer looks like this in the mirror, what does it actually look like on the outside? And if you're getting out to look 3, 4, 5 times during the actual practicing days, then by the time it comes to the actual road test, you probably don't even need to get out to look because you know exactly what this trailer looks like on the outside compared to what it looks like on the inside. It's a completely different world out there. And then when it comes to actually passing the third part of the road test, which is actually driving on the road itself, that is where our simulators come into play. So we give our students a lot of experience and a lot of time on our state-of-the-art driving simulators. We're one of the few schools in the country that actually offers this type of training included with our everyday courses. That being said, we give them years of experience within a few days of training, make sure that they're comfortable shifting, make sure they're comfortable driving on multiple roads, multiple different situations. So by the time they actually get onto the real road with us practicing, and by the time they get onto the real road with us on the road test itself, they're able to rock and roll without any issue there. And then the actual secret weapon, if you want to make sure that you're passing the test the very first time, is we actually started this new pilot program called the pre-test program. And how that works is we actually can give you a pre-test on the actual testing site we're going to be taking you on the test. We'll give you an actual snippet of what the test looks like. So we'll test you on your pre-trip skills. We'll also give you the same road route that you'll be taking on the test. And then you'll see exactly how well or how bad you're actually going through this as an evaluation. Now, after that evaluation, we'll tell you exactly what you did right, what you did wrong, so that gives you some time to actually study up and make sure you prepare it before you actually go for your real test as well. So those are all the different ways that we can actually help you get your CDL license as soon as possible and as fast as possible in 2024. So we are here to help 1 million people get on the road to freedom. And we know freedom means you need money, money means you have options, and CDL is a great way to make money and have those options and get free. So my name is Jonathan with Driving Academy. Again, if you want our help in order to get a CDL license in 2024, put in the comments below, I need a CDL in 2024, and maybe we'll pick somebody at random to help them out and get that goal accomplished. Thank you very much, and I'll see you soon. Hey, thank you so much for watching this video. If you like it, make sure you hit that like button. Also, subscribe to our channel. It's really going to help us out. Click on that button. And if you want to continue yourself on your road to freedom, here's more videos to watch. There's endless amounts. Hopefully we get to see each other one day very soon. Thanks.